Somebody wants to know, what do I have in my gym and why do I use it? Well, a lot of people want to know that. This is the original free motion machine, which was the first machine to give you the versatility of movement, angles, and it's adjustable and has long cables so you could do functional equipment. They built this based on concepts that I had developed. This is some of my many medicine balls. I love medicine balls for explosive training, versatility in training. You can do a million different movement patterns with them. I have a couple of the Bulgarian bags, and these things also give you a lot of versatility and functional movement patterns. Mike Salemi's the king on the Bulgarian bag if you want to know more. This is my Russian glute ham machine, which I've had for a long time. So it helps you isolate the hamstrings, the glutes, and the back, and you can do it and use it in different ways to isolate those muscles or train them in an integrated way. I use box steps for deadlifting and lunging and stepping, so I can get more depth with box deadlifts. I can go lower in the deadlift, and with lunging I can go deeper into the lunge. I use maces and various apparatus for functional training and just adding variety to my training. I even have hula hoops right over there to keep the kids excited and get some fun stuff going. I have a large selection of kettlebells. Eleiko kettlebells are my favorite. I have dumbbells all the way up to 200 pounds, some of which I had custom built because it's hard to get dumbbells that big. When I was younger and training a lot harder, I used to do a lot of super duper single arm clean and jerks with 160s and things like that. Swiss balls, most of you know I pioneered the use of the Swiss ball in the exercise industry. There's a million things you can do with a Swiss ball. That's probably the most important piece of equipment in the gym because you can do the most with it for the broadest number of biomotor abilities. I've got many videos on the Swiss ball. I've got foam rollers over there of several different types for joint mobilization, working sore spots out of the muscles, lengthening fascia, mobilizing joints, which is something that I typically do before I train to get my body ready to train. And then I have a rebounder, a total gym rebounder, which is great. You can use it to throw medicine balls at, you can use it to do rebounding on. This is my core machine, which I invented many years ago. I have a patent on it. I was originally intending to manufacture it and distribute it throughout the world because of its many functions, but it allows you to lay on a Swiss ball and have multiple anchor points. I used to use the feet anchors here to hold my feet while I would be doing crunches with my 200-pound dumbbells, and I've actually gone up all the way to 335 pounds when I used to crunch over Swiss balls, but then my abdominal muscles were about an inch thicker than they are now, and I used to train a lot more, but I just don't have time to train that much because I'm doing so many other more important things right now than keeping my body Herculean. So I keep a nice general fitness balance. Here I have the slack line, which is great balance training, and I don't last very long when I'm trying to talk on camera, but that's what it does. It gets you some balance training. I have Bosu balls. I have heavy medicine balls all the way up to 200 pounds. I have a rack of medicine balls over there. I've got a load of medicine balls in other locations. I have club bells, which I forgot to show you over there for swinging exercises, functional movements. I have my Olympic platforms, which is really my primary mode of lifting, is your standard squatting, lunging. Occasionally I do some Olympic lifts. I've got Eleiko rubberized plates. I've got ropes for dynamic core training and general fitness training, circuit training. I got jump ropes. I used to do a lot of jump roping when I was a boxer, and occasionally I like to skip rope. Stretching strap is a useful tool. Over here I have my quad cross system. I invented this. I'm the guy that actually first came up with the idea of adjusting cable columns. They used to be at the bottom and top only, so I consulted with FitnessWorks in New Zealand in probably about 97, and they were the first company to implement my suggestion of adjustable cable columns. So many of you may not realize it, but that came from this mind. And I was also the first person to put cable systems together in multiple combinations like this so you could do functional pushing and pulling movements and all sorts of things. And this is the lat pull down system that FitnessWorks developed working when I worked with them as a consultant, so you could get all this. I also put the mixed size chin-up bars on so you have different grip challenges to build your chin-ups. One of my fun tools over here is the pogo stick. So it's got a big spring and you can hop around on it. It's great balance training. What you don't see in my gym that I do quite a lot with is rocks. So I use a lot of heavy rocks and build things out of stone, mostly stone stacks that require me to do a lot of balance work. I build patterns, I build all sorts of things. I've got a Concept 2 rower over there, so sometimes I want to just do some cardio training, particularly on days when my muscles are sore and I sort of want to do some kind of active rest, so I don't necessarily want to take the total day off, but I'll do some rowing, and that feels good. It helps me breathe a lot and sweat, so it's a nice combination. So those are the main things. Now in the back I have a bunch of balance apparatus, balance boards of different types for postural training, reflex training, various skills development, and of course mats and all the standard things. But really most of my training is totally functional. I'm not a machine guy at all. I'm really into training your body in ways that enhance your ability to function at work or in your chosen sports or activities, so that your training time actually carries over to application in your life. I've seen a million times how people can be very strong on machines but be highly susceptible to injury, lose their athletic ability, and look good but not function well, and be not nearly as good off as if they trained with the kind of apparatus I'm sharing with you here. So that's a quick tour of my beautiful Rainbow Gym, and there's my 7 primal movement patterns, which we had painted into a mural on the wall. So that shows you squatting, lunging, bending, pushing, pulling, twisting, and gait, which has 3 derivations: walking, jogging, and sprinting. So my whole primal pattern movement system of analysis and restoration, rehabilitation, and athletic development is based on those primal patterns, which are the 7 primal patterns we have to have the functional ability to do to survive in nature, without which we would die. Therefore, our entire motor system is organized around how to create those 7 movement patterns, which turn out to be the same 7 movement patterns an infant has to go through in its own development to get to the point where it can walk. So that's really a quick tour of my gym and a little touch on my philosophy of training. Thanks for joining me.